Ever notice how the people who talk the most about learning something are usually the ones who never actually start? They're too busy mapping out the perfect strategy, buying the perfect course, waiting for the perfect moment. Meanwhile, someone else just showed up 75 days in a row and lapped them twice. Here's the thing nobody tells you about transformation. It doesn't happen in the planning phase. It doesn't happen when you're watching motivational videos at 2 in the morning or color coding your productivity journal. It happens when you're 3 weeks deep into something, your brain is protesting, and you show up anyway. Now imagine you're standing at day 0 of learning literally anything. Could be a language, could be coding, could be drawing stick figures that don't look completely ridiculous. What's your actual move here? Most people open 17 browser tabs, join 4 Discord servers, and convince themselves research is progress. But here's what the overachievers aren't advertising on LinkedIn. The secret isn't finding the optimal learning path or the guru with the best testimonials. The secret is so stupidly simple, it sounds like a fortune cookie. Just do the thing for 75 consecutive days and watch what happens. Why 75 though? Why not 30 or 100? Turns out there's something almost magical about that specific window. 30 days gets you familiar, maybe comfortable. 100 feels impossibly distant. But 75? That's the sweet spot where your brain stops fighting you and starts rewiring itself without asking permission. Picture the mechanics of what's actually happening inside your skull during this process. For the first 2 weeks, you're basically dragging a reluctant toddler to the playground. Your brain is screaming about all the other things you could be doing. Everything feels awkward and slow and kind of embarrassing. Then, somewhere around week 3, something shifts. The thing that felt impossible on day 1 now feels merely difficult. The concepts that made 0 sense start clicking into place, like puzzle pieces you didn't know you had. You're not suddenly a master, but you're also not the same person who started. How do you convince yourself to show up when motivation inevitably evaporates? Spoiler alert, you don't rely on motivation at all. Motivation is that friend who's super enthusiastic about plans, but bails when it's actually time to leave the house. Commitment is the one who shows up even when they'd rather be literally anywhere else. Cue the Instagram quote overlays and productivity influencers with perfect lighting. But strip away the aesthetic, and what you're really doing is making a simple trade. You're exchanging 75 slices of your time for a version of yourself who can do something you currently cannot. That's it. That's the whole transaction. Before you dismiss this as another self-help cliche, consider the compound effect happening beneath the surface. Day 1, you learn one tiny thing. Day 2, another tiny thing, plus you reinforce day 1. By day 30, you're not just 30 times better, you're exponentially more capable because everything builds on everything else. Some people hear this and immediately start poking holes. But what if I pick the wrong thing to learn? What if my approach isn't optimal? What if I waste 75 days going in the wrong direction? Cool questions. Here's a better one. What if you waste another year thinking about it instead? The beautiful irony is that the people most worried about wasting time are usually the ones wasting the most time worrying. Meanwhile, the person who just committed to 75 days of mediocre practice is already miles ahead of the person still optimizing their optimization strategy. Show me someone who learned something meaningful, and I'll show you someone who probably felt stupid for at least 40 of those 75 days. The learning curve isn't a smooth upward slope, it's more like a drunk staircase with occasional trapdoors. But even the trapdoors teach you something. Now here's where it gets interesting. The thing you set out to learn, that might not even be the most valuable thing you gain. The real prize is discovering that you're someone who can commit to 75 days of anything. That's a superpower that transfers to literally every other area of life. As modern life keeps accelerating and attention spans keep shrinking, the ability to sustain focus for 75 days becomes increasingly rare, which means it becomes increasingly valuable. Everyone wants the results, but fewer and fewer people have the patience for the process. Highlight this absurd contradiction we're all living in. We'll spend hours scrolling through content about productivity, watching videos about how to learn faster, reading articles about the optimal morning routine, but actually blocking out distractions and doing focused work for 75 days straight, that's apparently too radical. Some say this approach is too rigid, that you need flexibility and balance. Others call it the only way to actually accomplish anything meaningful in a world designed to fracture your attention. Who's right? Probably both, depending on what you're trying to build. The fascinating part is watching how the strategy adapts when life inevitably throws curveballs. Missed a day because of an emergency? The 75-day purists say start over. The pragmatists say pick up where you left off. Either way, the lesson persists. Showing up matters more than showing up perfectly. As critics point out the potential for burnout or obsession, the approach simply evolves. Maybe it becomes 75 days with rest built in. Maybe it becomes multiple shorter sprints. Innovation always finds a way to preserve the core truth while adapting to human reality. Despite all the new productivity apps and learning platforms and AI tutors promising to revolutionize education, the same old principle quietly persists. Want to learn something? Remove the mystery, ignore the hype, and just show up for 75 days. The results handle themselves. Here's what nobody mentions in the before and after photos. The person at day 75 isn't just more skilled, they're fundamentally different. They've proven something to themselves that no motivational quote could ever prove. They've collected evidence that they're capable of transformation through simple, boring consistency. Before you know it, those 75 days become a template you can apply to anything. Want to change your health? 75 days. Want to build a business? 75 days of actual work, not planning. Want to master a craft? Stack enough 75-day blocks, and suddenly you're the person others are asking for advice. The ripple effects spread in unexpected directions. You start noticing how much time you previously spent in preparation limbo, that weird space between wanting to do something and actually doing it. You realize you spent years there with some goals, circling the airport but never landing. Turn the lens on your own life for a second. How many things have you thought about learning? How many projects lived in your head for months or years without ever making it to day one? Now, imagine if you just picked one and started 75 days ago. Where would you be right now? Some people read this and feel inspired. Others feel called out. Both reactions are pointing at the same truth. We already know consistency works. We're just terrified of committing to it. Because commitment means we can't hide behind, I could do that if I really wanted to anymore. Cue the part where life interrupts with its regularly scheduled chaos. Someone gets sick, work explodes, the universe seems personally offended by your 75-day streak. And here's where you learn the real lesson. It's not about the perfect, unbroken chain. It's about what you do when the chain breaks. The people who succeed aren't the ones who never stumble. They're the ones who stumble on day 42 and show up on day 43 anyway. They're the ones who restart at day 1 for the 5th time and still believe day 75 is waiting for them. Highlight this weird paradox we don't talk about enough. The more you commit to something, the more you realize how little you actually knew when you started. Day 1, you is confidently ignorant. Day 75, you understands exactly how much depth remains unexplored, and somehow that's progress. Point out how elements of this continue today in ways we barely notice. Every successful creator, athlete, or expert you admire probably has their own version of the 75-day rule. They might not call it that, but peek behind their highlight reel and you'll find unglamorous consistency stretching back further than you'd expect. That's the game nobody wants to admit they're playing. Results look like talent, or luck, or magic from the outside. From the inside, they look like day 58, when you really didn't want to show up, but you did anyway. That's the whole trick. That's the entire secret hidden in plain sight.